Clive Barker Podcast audio commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign, Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 3.
Hell on Earth.
This is going to be the Yattering and Jack, one of our stretch goals from Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 3, Hell on Earth. So actually, we've kind of gone through all the bad movies. This is kind of a bridge between the bad movies and the good movies. There's some interesting stuff, I think, and in the Yattering and Jack is kind of mostly faithful too. It's just
they didn't have enough money to really.
Yeah. But before we won't start playing it yet, I did want to say that if you go to the show notes, and as we're recording this, it's not there yet, but if you go to the show notes for this page, there will be a link to watch this video, and if I can get the password protection figured out, then there'll be a password there also to be able to watch this. So we're sort of doing this for a limited time. We're not doing it for money or anything. It's just this is so obscure that I think that probably a majority of listeners won't have access to the Yattering and Jack from Tales from the Dark Side. So
yeah, probably even out of print at this point. I'm not entirely sure. But
I don't think it ever made it to DVD or anything. I think it's only on a VHS compilation.
Mm. So we're doing something different today. We're going to adopt the drive-in double bill format, which it's going to be fun. So we're going to start with the Yattering and Jack, and then we're going to ask you guys to sync up your DVD of Quicksilver Highway to like about 42 minutes in.
So for right now, go to www.clivebarkercast.com and go to the show notes.
For Yattering and Jack, there's a Vimeo link on the website on the show notes for this audio commentary. So go to that. And get it queued up to play. You'll just see some clouds, I think, at the beginning here. And Rob, do you want to do the countdown?
Okay, are we gonna start with the Tales from the Dark Side? Opening. Okay,
that's long. By the way.
Yeah, I know. It is. Okay, I'll do the countdown.
I just accidentally fast forwarded my. There we go. Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Play.
All right. I used to get. I have to say this intro kind of scared me when I saw the first episode of Tales from the Dark Side.
It still is kind of creepy. The music is good.
They oversell it a little bit.
Yeah.
There were some cool episodes in this show, though. I remember one about, I think it was one of the first ones, about an old man who refused to believe that he had died, so he just kept on living. Even though his body was like decaying and everything.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I've never. This is the only time I'd ever seen Tales from the Dark Side was when I found out about the Yattering and Jack, and I bought this VHS. So I've probably seen the other episodes on the tape, but I can't remember any of them.
I only saw them on TV when they played in Portugal.
So if you are watching the copy that I uploaded, I'm sorry about the crackly sound. I did have to digitize it from a VHS tape.
Oh, that's good.
So that might have been a tracking thing, or I don't know.
The Yattering and Jack, and it starts with Christmas, of course.
So Phil Fondacaro is the Yattering, right? And then Tony Carbone is Jack Polo.
I found out a few things after looking at Fondacaro's IMDb page. I never realized that he was in Oliver Stone's movie of The Doors. He's just he's a dinner guest at one scene. And I was like, really?
I think, was there a picture of him where he had this huge beard?
Maybe.
So he looks totally different on IMDb than the way he looks in this show.
Mm-hmm. So here we see the infamous Yattering boiling the fish. Played by Clive Barker.
Yeah.
He didn't have very kind words to say about this episode after it came out. We'll get into that.
the director who did this episode, he wrote Supergirl, the movie, and Masters of the Universe starring Dolph Lundgren.
There was a Supergirl movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Back in '84, I think.
Uh-huh.
Wow,
that explains a lot. That does explain a lot about the quality of this episode.
Yeah.
Because I recently saw the Masters of the Universe a few days ago, and I was like, my God, this movie is just horrible.
I was really excited for that when I heard that they were making it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I loved He-Man. Before the cartoon even came out, I loved the stories in the little comic books that came with the toys and stuff. So I was hoping it would be more faithful to those, and it just was its own really weird thing.
Oh, this is kind of off topic, but I know a few things about the Filmation cartoon of the He-Man. It was supposed to be the toy line was supposed to be for Conan, but they couldn't get the rights for Conan, so they created a new character.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Tom Kalinske, he was the CEO of Sega later after he worked at Hasbro.
Boiled fish again.
Yeah.
And so the toys came out, and the cartoon from Filmation. Filmation was actually a very small company. And at the time when the guys got the job to make the He-Man cartoons, I think, they almost didn't even have anybody to work in the company. And so they desperately had to come up with finding some animators to do the show. But anyway, that's off topic. So, what do you guys think of Carbone as Jack Polo?
I think he's great. I think he's probably the best part of this show, honestly.
Yeah.
His explanations are so corny, though. I mean, it like, oh, it must be the thermostat. Be like, yeah, a thermostat's going to boil the fish.
I think he's just having fun with the script and. I never in the story. I didn't picture him.
Yeah.
That kind of character, but
I think
it works.
I think the makeup for the Yattering and for especially for Mephistopheles is just Beelzebub.
So
Beelzebub just has fluffy eyebrows. That's like and a tall collar. I think that's like what makes him a devil.
And horns? Didn't he have horns or something?
I don't think so. I think the Yattering does, but I don't think that Beelzebub. I don't think they bothered to give him horns.
I think
he looked like Orson Welles too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Carbone as Jack Polo it doesn't do a good job of depicting the character, and I'll explain why. Okay. Because in the book, in the story, Jack Polo is supposed to be this very everyman, this jerkin. Mm-hmm. He sells pickles, right? Yeah. And so he's just a very calm guy, and nothing phases him. And Tony Carbone seems to actually get mad at what the Yattering does, but he pretends like he's not mad.
Yeah.
It still comes across as being mad, And then Jack Polo in the story, he's more like, oh, well, it's subsidence.
Very passive.
He's very reserved, But he knows exactly what's going on. He just acts like he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
I think they hit you over the head a little bit with it in this show versus the story.
I think it's because of the short episode that they only have 20 minutes for this.
Yeah. And this goes by really fast. When I was previewing it to get ready for this, I had one note or something about the eyebrows of Beelzebub, and then it was over.
What I liked when I was reading the story, the guy to comment on Jose's talk about the passive nature of the character. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really care much.
He's got a dog collar on.
When he catches his wife, it's like he just says these things happen and walks out of the room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when his wife is being unfaithful to him in the story. Yeah, I recommend people go read the Books of Blood story because it's much more entertaining and it is definitely a tongue-in-cheek story.
The comic adaptation of this is much better than this.
Yeah, the Eclipse graphic novel. Yeah. If you can find a copy of that, get it because it's just a delight.
And I don't. Yeah, and the writing is fine. It's just I think they're hamstrung by the ratings. Having to keep it television friendly and the budget.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ryan, Rob.
I didn't think there was anything too questionable in story, was there? I mean, I always thought kind of the story was kind of like a PG-13.
Well, the cat exploded in the microwave, and here he just references like something that happened in the past, so they didn't have to show it.
Yeah, that's true.
Carolers.
Yeah. And also, didn't his wife commit suicide in the short story?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Because he didn't care. He just was like,
Yeah.
I think if they would have maybe made the costume where he covers up this actor's face, his body, maybe it would have been better, but I don't feel like he's a real true demon.
No.
Like, I keep picturing that cover from the Eclipse comics that, y'all use Bills of Blood.
Yeah.
Years and,
Yeah, if we had used this picture, the Yattering wouldn't stand a chance.
No.
Oh, here it comes, the powers, Beelzebub.
Yep. See, no horns, he just has fluffy eyebrows.
That's true, yeah.
And he's got a dog collar on too.
Well, Christopher Lloyd in Quicksilver Highway, he also kind of has a dog collar, so I guess this is the dog collar character episode.
Yep, that's what ties them together. Well, and also this is produced by George Romero, right? So it's kind of a Tales from the, or what do you call it, creep show. It's kind of got a creep show vibe to it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
There was a lot of these stories or kind of shows when I was growing up, Amazing Stories and Twilight Zone.
I liked Amazing Stories. I remember that one.
Yeah, that was really good.
And
they made a movie based off this show. And that's what I saw first. I didn't know this was a TV show before.
A movie of Yattering and Jack? Or of Tales from the Dark Side?
Just Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it. I know what you're talking about.
If I can connect this to the next segment that we're going to watch, Mick Garris, you guys talked about Amazing Stories, and one of his first industry jobs was a story editor on the Steven Spielberg-produced TV series, Amazing Stories. Oh. Yeah, wow. He wrote 9 episodes for that, Mick Garris.
Cool.
Yeah. He's always been into the whole anthology thing. I mean, he was also in Masters of Horror, where he did 2 episodes for Clive Barker stories. But I'll save this one for the next segment. Yeah, this guy doesn't. He just looks like a biker.
And this
S&M
conversation
has an S&M quality to him.
Yeah, like an S&M bear.
It seems like the purpose of this conversation is to explain all the stuff that we didn't see, so that they don't have to film it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. And do they ever explain why Hell was trying to catch Jack Polo? Because I watched this and I was like, I didn't really get the.
He just says offhandedly his mother was a witch.
And that's not in the story, right?
Yeah. In the story, I think they had sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah, but his mother wasn't a witch, was he? I read it.
I think she was in the story.
Was she? Okay.
She dabbled in the black arts or something like that.
Yeah.
I know she cheated them somehow.
I just can't. I can't get over. I can't get past the fact that they made this makeup for this guy, because it's like when you see in really bad movies when someone is like in Masters of the Universe. There's a part where you see He-Man after a battle, and he's got like this black makeup, like shoe polish all over his face or whatever. It's just that stupid makeup to pretend like, oh, he's dirty because he's been in battle or something.
Yeah.
And that's like the most basic knowledge of makeup that you can get. It's like, just put some black makeup on his face, pretend like he just came out of a struggle or a battle or something. Yeah,
like a theater.
And this is the same thing. It's like, he's a demon, let's paint a little person red and put horns in his head. Doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
So here's what Clive Barker had to say about this episode. Let's see if I can find that real quick. He says, I did write, or rather I adapted, one story of mine, The Yattering and Jack, which is a kind of comedic short story, which came out very so-so as far as I was concerned. I was not happy with it. The problem with network television, the thing you're faced with all the time with horror on network TV, is that it has to be so mild, and my horror fiction is not mild, so we're always dealing with the problem of, again, censorship, I'm afraid. Yeah. So this is what Clive Barker said on the Larry King Show in October of 1988.
But this was 86, right? I couldn't read it on the VHS tape, but the IMDb said 86. But the VHS tape sort of looks like it says 88, and I don't... Maybe IMDb is wrong.
8 November 1987.
Oh, okay.
The group, the carolers were standing by the horrible backdrop.
Yeah.
It didn't look real at all.
Yeah. Also, Amanda was a child actress, right? She was in All in the Family and then Archie's Place. She was a little girl.
Okay.
And I think she's done a lot of other stuff, and I think she's a good actress, but it doesn't come across in this show.
No. And in the story, there's two daughters.
Right.
Yes.
And one of them was a lesbian, and he thought that was going to drive him crazy.
It's like, I think in the book he says, at least you can't get pregnant or something like that.
Well, that's true. One of the things that I always pay attention is the music, and I try to find some information about the music in these things.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that they didn't really have a lot of money for this, I guess, so they would rely a lot on library music. So most of the music in this episode, and in fact a lot of music that they use in other episodes of Tales from the Dark Side, came from the Capitol Music Library, specifically from a single album, album D107-108, Ocean-Ghosts, composed by William Luce. And most of the music from this episode comes from that album.
So it's sort of like Inside Hollywood public domain stuff.
Yeah, yeah. They used also music from this library for Creepshow, In Search Of, which was a TV show from '76, and I think the album is actually on YouTube if you want to listen to it. So I'll try to find it for the show notes.
Well, also it was kind of hokey that he gives her this like pearl necklace, but he's like, "Oh, they're fake, but you can't tell," and she's happy about it. And then the turkey's wearing the necklace, and it's just kind of like. It just sort of emphasizes how cheap this show is.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's true. That's very true. The whole turkey scene is just so hilariously bad.
And there's all those commemorative plates up on the ceiling there, all around the whole apartment or house or whatever, and he doesn't knock any of them down.
Well, there were a few that fell in the beginning of the episode.
Oh, okay.
But he certainly likes his plates, I guess.
Yeah.
This gets crazy in the story.
Yeah.
The daughter. After all that, the shenanigans of where it really goes the
turkey and
really goes crazy. I mean, it's not just the turkey. It's like it just creates this like whirlwind of madness.
He's not very subtle, the Yattering. After a while, he starts getting really annoyed.
Yeah, and it's really fast because we only have 20 minutes for him to go from like trying to bug him to like going.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I like the part where I think the Yattering says to Beelzebub, "This man is some sort of saint."
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? He doesn't really look like, his attitude doesn't come across as something like that. But
and he has to explain it because we don't get to see it. And, like the thing about walking in on his wife, that would have been more poignant, But we just hear about it instead of...
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
It's time to play ping pong.
People are just throwing stuff off screen.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole turkey thing was just...
So him yelling, "Show yourself," is kind of... It's not really like you said, like the character in the short story.
No.
Now he's going nuts.
Yeah, because in the story, Jack Polo's whole thing is he doesn't want to acknowledge that there's a presence there, that there's a demon. He refuses to acknowledge it, which drives the Yattering crazy. He's a very angry man in this episode.
I don't understand why he didn't take her for a walk and explain everything to her.
Well, he's going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, right there.
But I would have thought he would say before she came in, "Hey, I want to take you for a walk and talk to you about something before we go back in." Don't even let her come in the house first.
Sure, but that this way is more interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
why wouldn't he, for example, move to another place? I don't know if the Yattering was going to be bound to that house, or that if he would have to go back to hell and say, "Hey, I need to change my place of activity."
Yeah, I don't know. And now it's like, oh, you're screwing with his presence when you should be stopping him from going out of the house.
It is true, Rob. He does look like an S&M character.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
and
a biker.
also this conversation means that it's taking Jack Polo like 10 minutes to turn the doorknob.
Yeah, I know. It does.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. It's like when hell talks, it's this fourth dimensional thing where time stands still.
Oh, yeah.
It's time dilation. No, I'm just making it up. Really. No, I don't know. You're right, obviously.
That is so hokey.
It is.
Oh, wait. I only have two hands. Amanda, do something. Hold the thing so I can turn the doorknob. No, instead, why don't you run to the other door?
He's doing his Jack Nicholson impersonation in As Good as It Gets, where he had like a whole bunch of locks on the door. And
yeah, that's right, he did.
There we go. It's like, oh, go try to open up the back door.
That Yattering is so stupid.
Yeah.
There we go. This is, this part is kind of similar to the short story.
Fooled by a mortal.
And of course, the Yattering couldn't leave the house, and he couldn't touch Jack Polo, which he just did. So, like, oh no, oops.
That little actor, I don't know his name, but he's been in a bunch of stuff before. He was in Willow, and I think he played an Ewok, and he was in Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood.
Oh yeah, he was in Quantum Leap.
He was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay. He's been in a lot of movies. He's been in Sliders, Tales from the Crypt, The Doors that I brought up at the beginning of the episode, Man at Birthday Party.
Really?
Yeah, he was Big Mo in Quantum Leap.
Oh, cool.
I've never seen Quantum Leap. I always wanted to go through and watch all those.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. He was also in Troll. He played Torok.
Yeah, he played Troll. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And he's been in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, like you said, yeah. That is true. It's actually funny in the short story.
He had an Australian accent, the Yattering, when he talked to him. I remember that was like one of the last things I read in the story, that Yattering talked with an Australian accent.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't think I would want a Christmas dinner that he made.
Yeah. Those nails, he'd probably break a nail.
It's an unholy mess, right? Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
He has to do the hand gesture when he says this. That's my favorite line in this whole show. What are you muttering back there, Yat?
Yeah.
And whenever you say that, you have to do that hand gesture thing.
Yeah, like an Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gangster.
I'm going to order a pizza.
It's me, Mario. There we go. So that's our first feature.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have to set up the second feature.
Yeah. So I have this on I have it on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you want to set it up, go to 42 minutes in.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's the appropriate point.
Sorry, I had a couple of seconds of Nightbreed on there.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh.
I made a DVD that has a whole bunch of different Clive Barker stuff, and one of them was in 2009 when Phil and Sarah released that short Nightbreed footage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I put that on the DVD, too.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Yeah.
I got my I got my Quicksilver Highway set up. Just let me know when you guys are done. In my DVD, that's 42 minutes.
42 minutes?
Right at the beginning of the second story, right after the first one ends with the chattering teeth.
Yeah, on the DVD, it's Chapter 9, Chapter 9, The Pickpocket. Ready to talk about Quicksilver Highway, and now, like you said, we're skipping the chattery teeth part because they're really two completely independent stories. There's a connecting character, but there's really no references between the two stories at all.
He's Aaron Quicksilver. And here we have the Santa Monica, I forgot, the Santa Monica Pier, I guess?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's one of the filming locations listed for this movie. So,
yeah, so we need to I can do a countdown. Yeah, okay, so now we're at about 42 minutes in on Quicksilver Highway. We're skipping, like we said, the chattery teeth part. And it should open up on the pier. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
There we go. Santa Monica Pier here. One of the filming locations for this movie. Here it's called Pacific Park.
When this movie came out, I was nervous about seeing this. There's something about people getting their hands chopped off that kind of bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
So I was nervous about watching this.
This was originally aired as a Fox Tuesday night movie, and it was aired on a Tuesday, May 13th, 1997, at 8 Eastern, 10 Pacific.
Yeah, actually, I think I saw it then.
Yeah, I did too. Cool. I was a junior in high school.
Wow. So the short
this opening, showing all the hands and how people are using their hands to do things.
Mm-hmm.
You notice he's stealing things and other people are just using their hands for
I think I was in my apartment in college in Washington State.
So in this movie, Christopher Lloyd plays Aaron Quicksilver, a mysterious character with eerie tales to tell. In Quicksilver Highway, the world premiere on the Fox Tuesday night movie. In one story based on Clive Barker's The Body Politic, a plastic surgeon, Matt Freuer, finds himself at war with his own hands.
Max Headroom.
Yeah. Mick Garris from The Stand and The Shining wrote the teleplay, directed, and produced.
Does it bother you guys that his pickpocketing is terrible? I mean, it seems like every single one of those people should
notice.
Oh, yeah, it's not done very convincingly, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that's not something that ruins the movie or anything.
No.
Yeah, the estimated budget for this movie was $4 million. And the music is done by an artist that I am very fond of, Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo.
Oh, wow.
Ah.
Yes.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. This is also Clive Barker's third ever cameo in a movie. I think the first one was in Barn of the Blood Llama, and the second was in Sleepwalkers.
Yeah.
Also a Mick Garris movie, I think.
His part in Sleepwalkers was almost exactly the same as it is in this movie.
Yeah.
He was like an EMT or no.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's like, "Don't ask me, talk to the sheriff." That was the only reason I bought the VHS of Sleepwalkers. I really didn't like that movie at all.
I think Fox released this as a VHS, but it was very limited, like 10,000 copies. And then Anchor Bay released it as a Region 1 DVD.
Yeah.
May 17th of 2005.
That's what I'm watching.
I was hoping they'd do like an uncut version or something, because I thought maybe for TV they, had to cut out some violence, but they didn't apparently.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because the story, the way it's told very graphically in Barker's words is what helps it.
Yeah,
in a way.
True.
I mean,
something that I found out when I was researching this movie is that actually Mick Garris said that when Fox aired this movie back in the day, they forced him to change the order of the two stories. So he says, I was able to put in a couple of things and put the order right. He's talking about when they allowed him to release it for home video. He said, I was able to put in a couple of things and put the order right. That had not been in the broadcast. It is as intended on the video.
So in the broadcast, it was Chattery. It was this one first and then Chattery Teeth?
Yeah, that's what
I saw.
Yes. That's what when I started watching this version that I have, it was I always thought it was the the Body Politic first, so that I didn't know that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and the Chattery Teeth one is really kind of corny and forgettable.
Mm-hmm. The Hand of Glory.
I mean, I guess if we were the Stephen King podcast, maybe we'd be more excited about it.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Stephen King fans.
Yeah.
So Mick Garris said, Matt Froyer and I did another movie together called Quicksilver Highway. That was a lot of fun. It's just a really fun recreational horror film. Actually, Anchor Bay's trying to get the rights from Fox to put it on DVD. I would love to see that show. We did that after The Shining to keep the crew together and to shoot something in town and just have a really good time.
Oh, The Shining, the television version, right?
Stephen King's version, yeah.
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 I never saw that. People say or I guess Stephen King likes it better. I don't know.
It's pretty good. I liked it, but it's not Stanley Kubrick's.
Yeah.
By any means, but I don't think it, was trying to be.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick, yeah. Once on Lost Souls, the old website newsletter, they asked him about his cameo in Sleepwalkers and asked him what was the motivation to accept that part, and said, Mick Garris, the director, originally asked if I would do the part, but it was more the idea of being on screen with Stephen King that made me want to do it. We had a blast, and I gave the money to charity.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him saying making a joke about his bad acting. Or about getting an Academy Award or something.
Oh, yeah.
In the same interview, he was also talking about Quicksilver Highway, and he says, it's originally scheduled to air in late May, but there is talk that it may be moved back to October to be released around another project that we're working on. We have the script for this movie of the week called Silo, and it is being worked on right now. Production will start sometimes in June for a Halloween air date. 3 months after that, we will air the second Monster of the Week called Shock Cinema. And 3 months after that, we will air the third, which is called Hoop Hell. Also on the TV front, we have a series called Retribution that is being considered for a mid-season replacement on Fox. All stuff that never really happened. It's just frustrating to hear about these titles and not have any idea what Clive is talking about.
Yeah.
Nope, there's the cop. I always wondered how that Hand of Glory worked.
Yeah, so it's dipped in wax, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like dipped in wax wouldn't let it burn for so long.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think they make it a little bit too unsubtle, this thing about how important people's hands are. Mm-hmm. It's just over and over in this movie. Keep talking about how important your hands are.
Right.
I don't know.
I think maybe it's a bit on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's too
much. When you think about it, it's our hands that allowed us to become the dominant race in this world, in this planet, because if we didn't have opposable thumbs,
create things,
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to create tools, and then our brains wouldn't have, started growing.
A friend of mine said that he thought it was because of front-facing eyes, and the ability to do geometry to figure out how to throw stuff at animals.
That too. I guess that all came with our skulls reshaping and becoming, having a bigger brain. This lady sneezes and then she checks her face. That's funny. So in the real story, in the short story, Charlie George is not a doctor.
And why does that nurse? She looks like she's missing half of her outfit.
I know
it's weird that she comes back later wearing that same outfit too, and it's like, where are your pants?
Everybody else has scrubs except
I know.
She has exactly.
Oh boy, this lady. So here we have the surgery. In that story, the guy, Charlie George, is actually just a guy who works at a factory. Yeah. And he doesn't even like doctors. So it's funny that they turned him into a doctor for this movie.
Yeah, it makes for uncomfortable moments, I guess, because you're getting surgery, you're out unconscious, and you're trusting these people.
This lady reminds me of that lady in the movie Brazil that gets her face stretched.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm 39. Yeah, right. Your code is 39.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of dumb. I mean, he's a doctor. How would he not know how old she is?
Of course, yeah.
Man, I had a ticket person ask me if I was over 60 yesterday.
What?
Yeah,
she's just being an ass.
Riding the train around Pioneer Park for Joey. She's like, "Are you over 60?" I said, "No." I was like, "Wait, no."
Yeah.
Maybe it was the gray hair that threw them off.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and she was super young, so I guess all people over 30 look the same.
Yeah.
I got carded at buying some vodka at the ABC store the other day, and some guy said because people dye their beards gray. I've never heard of that.
Dye what?
Dye their beards gray.
Oh my God!
Here it comes. Here comes the Clive Barker cameo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he's starting the surgery and he drops the scalpel.
Or he throws it.
Boink.
Yeah, there's John Landis, director, Blues Brothers, American One from London.
Father of Max Landis.
Yeah.
And in the background, there's our favorite, doing something that God knows what. He's just standing there, but
probably thinking of a new story to tell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is why we do the Clive Barker podcast, is because of this scene in this movie. That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
What did I ever do to you?
Yeah.
And then he gives that characteristic smile and puts his mask back on. So Lost Souls asked Clive in November of 97, after this movie came out, they asked him, "Did you get a good response from Quicksilver Highway, at least from Fox?" And Clive Barker replied, "It was all right. I have my problems with the way that it was presented. I believe that anthologies are very hard to pull off. I almost want to say that there's not a single anthology movie out there that I can say hand on heart that I loved. There are anthologies in which I love one or two stories. I love The Crate in the first Creep Show. I love the Joe Dante story about the little kid that invents his own world in the Twilight Zone picture." And then he goes on to talk about Stephen King's story and stuff. So I'll add this one to the show notes.
He's got a good point. I think that I would like this a lot better if they had stretched out this for 90 minutes and not had chattery teeth.
Yeah. Clive does go on to say, "I think Mick Garris is incredibly talented. His adaptation of The Shining is a testament of how well he can do with a long form of fiction. I'd love to see him tackle something of mine that was 6 hours long instead of an hour long. It's not even an hour. A television hour is something like 48 minutes or something like that."
Yeah, exactly.
So here we see his hands are trying to get him killed.
Yeah, it's like that's totally against their plan. If he dies right now, then they're gonna die.
Right.
So this is basically just exposition.
Yeah, it's just meant to make you feel uncomfortable about what's going on.
Yeah. But I wonder who is I guess most of the audience for this probably hadn't read the story. Because those of us that had we know exactly what's going to happen.
Here's a funny thing. He's just parking his Saab, but he's going to go into that house, and there's going to be a staircase. That is the same staircase that is on the cover of The Dark Fantastic with Clive Barker standing on it.
Oh.
When I was
so I wonder.
I was thinking I noticed it from somewhere.
Huh. Yeah, I wonder if they shot this in Clive Barker's house, right there.
Maybe.
See that stairway?
Oh.
It's the same stairway that's on the cover of The Dark Fantastic.
Yeah, right. Wow, good find.
Yeah, really.
I'm looking at the cover of the book right now.
So she's Mick Garris' wife.
Yes, she is. She's in everything he does. She was in Sleepwalkers. She was in The Shining remake. Usually, anything that he does, she has some kind of part. She's a stunt woman, I think.
Oh,
okay.
Well, Sleepwalkers didn't make sense to me because those monsters were supposed to be sympathetic, but then they were also jerks.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, it kind of got campy too.
Yeah, and then stabbing
very serious.
When somebody got stabbed with an ear of corn, I was out.
Cop kebab.
Yeah.
Hey, I also
don't forget to eat your vegetables.
I also want to remind people that Clive Barker's The Body book is on pre-order by Dark Regions Press.
Yes.
And there was an interview that came out on Fangoria that had both Clive Barker and Mick Garris being interviewed where they talk about this. And so one of the things that's going to be on the book is never before seen materials from the film adaptation of The Body Politic, the In the Flesh film that never came to be, interviews with filmmaker Mick Garris, and much more bonus material.
Oh, the In the Flesh film.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There we go.
How would you like to be Mick Garris videotaping that?
Huh.
Yeah.
Everybody's a professional.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But so there was a Fangoria interview, and I'm trying to remember when this was, but I think it was around November last year. And they were talking about they talked to Clive Barker and Mick Garris about the Body book and the Mummy movie that never happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they also talk a little bit about the In the Flesh movie that never happened as well. So they asked him about the Body book, and Mick Garris said, well, I discuss how Quicksilver Highway came to be, my introduction to Clive and his work, what happened to the movie version of In the Flesh that I wrote and was going to direct for Warner Brothers, etc.
In the Flesh is the prison movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that confused with the Inhuman Condition sometimes.
Yeah,
Oh,
the titles are kind of...
Here are the hands talking while he's sleeping.
And that's how I pretty much envisioned him talking when I was reading the story.
Yeah, I think that part is good.
Yeah.
The little voices are kind of cheesy, but
Yeah,
I don't know how else you could do it, really. I mean, you have to do something.
I guess every fan who read The Body Politic has done this while they were reading the story. I did it.
Yeah.
I was like, how would that work? Like,
Yeah.
pretend like your hand is going to kill you and grab your face with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that interview in Fangoria, they asked him, why didn't the In the Flesh feature film ever come to fruition? And Mick Garris said, I wrote the screenplay from Clive's story, and it was going to be a big studio project at Warner's, something Clive and I were both really excited about. The novella was creepy as hell and very internal. And, so it goes on to talk about the complications, that the studio's enthusiasm just sort of waned and
That's too bad.
broke his heart.
They could still do it.
Sure.
Kickstart it.
Yeah.
Don't rely on the movie studios.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. I wonder if this is Clive Barker's house.
Yeah, I've never been there, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we've only been in the studio, the studio house, not the one that he lives in.
I did look up that photography of his library that was done in that coffee table book once, but this is not it. This is not Clive Barker's library.
And I walked in the backyard when Mark took me on a tour, but I haven't been inside.
Oh, cool.
This actor here actually played the preacher in Candyman 2 Farewell to the Flesh.
He did.
Oh, yeah, right.
Good catch.
Kind of weird how things kind of,
Yeah, I was just thinking I recognized him, but I couldn't think of from where.
And this character in the book, it seems like they've had a relationship for a long time. In the book, they just his wife sets up a meeting for him, doesn't?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, they did. I mean, this had to accelerate.
They're really good friends in the TV adaptation.
Yeah, that spiral staircase sort of makes me think this is Clive Barker's house.
We have talked about the Yattering and Jack on the Clive Barker podcast in several other instances. For example, we talked about the one-act play that happened on Sci-Fi Fest some time ago. We also talked about other projects that on the horizon. You can go and look up Yattering and Jack tag on our blog, and you will find all the previous mentions of it. Yeah, like the Yattering and Jack portfolio from Gauntlet Press and the 5 weirdest Clive Barker adaptations. Remember that one?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was a great one.
Yeah, and episode number 2, Books of Blood, Volume 1.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when she's going to see the hands talking.
And there's a really good in the story. He's having a dream, like he's on some kind of slave ship and he's being whipped or something, or he's.
Oh yeah.
It was just a good. What he's dreaming is a good metaphor for what's happening in real life.
That would have been kind of. I mean, they could do that in a movie. And that would be interesting to cut back and forth between the dream and reality.
Yeah.
One of the things I always wondered if Clive Barker had seen and inspired him to do this movie was the story. Did you guys ever see a 1981 movie with Michael Caine, directed by Oliver Stone, called The Hand?
Yes, I did. I was thinking of that movie when I was reading this. Yes, I did.
I really recommend that one. It's really good. Oliver Stone, Michael Caine. It's about John Lansdale is a comic book artist who loses his right hand in a car accident, and the hand is not found at the scene of the accident.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
It is good. You're right.
And the short story predates Evil Dead 2.
Oh, true.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Evil Dead 2 had the Three Stooges sort of like gimmicks going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Went into my hand and got bad.
Yeah. So I lopped it off at the wrist.
When I was in Las Vegas a couple of trips ago, I did go to see Evil Dead the musical. That was a hoot.
Oh wow.
Cool. How was it? Yeah, you have to tell us about that.
Sure.
I'd like to know about it.
Funny bit of trivia: Matt Frewer now is as old as Christopher Lloyd was when he made this movie.
Oh, it was him that the current picture of him on IMDb. He's got a gigantic beard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
He was in recently. I saw him in well, not recently, I guess, but he was in the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh,
that was back in 2004. So that's not.
Yeah, okay. Because I saw it said in credits it said Dawn of the Dead. And I'm like, really? I don't remember him being in Dawn of the Dead. But okay, yes, the remake.
He did play Moloch and Watchmen too.
Oh,
Watchmen adaptation.
Yeah, Moloch. Yeah, he's also Night at the Museum: Secret of the Tomb.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have not seen a Night at the Museum movie.
Yeah, I've seen a few. This part is really well done. I like this part. It's very, very disturbing.
I always wondered how much control do the hands have over the arms? It seems like it sort of varies depending on the situation.
Well, what's cool is they feel like characters here.
Yeah.
You know? He's doing a good job of making them, separating and making them feel different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One's more in control than the other. Because I think Wright is the Messiah, right? In the story.
Yes,
it's
right.
Like,
yeah, that's right.
One has to create the army.
He's like, we need a clean cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wright is better at using the butcher knife.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's why Left is the first one to leave.
Yeah.
He's pulling his jaw off. The thing is, this is something that happens with Mick Garris stuff, is that he kind of mixes these parts where it's like scary and really disturbing, but then he makes scenes in the same story that just look goofy and really, you know, sometimes over the top goofy. It's not even like dark humor goofy, but
yeah.
You see a lot of that in Sleepwalkers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for sure, his Masters of Horror episode, Valerie and the Stairs, and Heckle's Tale, those are pretty good stories. Those are amazing episodes. I really enjoy those.
I honestly have never seen those. I need to check them out. The only Masters of Horror I saw was Cigarette Burn. Drunk.
Oh, that's one.
Oh, you didn't see Heckle's Tale and?
Nah, I need to check them out.
It's a very disturbing story. Cigarette Burns was actually the episode that brought back John Carpenter to directing. Because he had kind of given up at that point. He was like, I'm done with Hollywood. And then...
I'm just going to go play video games all day.
Yeah, play on the Xbox or something with his kid and make music. But then he did Cigarette Burns, and he kind of fell back into the rhythm of it.
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch any of them except for the Clive Barker adaptations.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, yeah. Some of them are good. There's one that's written by Max Landis, John Landis' son. It's called Deer Woman. I think he wrote that when he was like 17 or 18 or something like that. I didn't think that one was very good, but, you know, he got better after that.
Well, he's pretty prolific writing scripts, right? He just keeps on going and sells a lot of them.
He always has a lot of ideas going on.
Yeah. I hear interviews with him sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we are.
Yeah, this scene is super disturbing. I mean, I don't know how they did the special effect on it, but it's really convincing.
It is.
My guess is that there's a hole in the table and there's someone's hand underneath and there's a prosthetic in the back of the hand that's supposed to be the wrist.
It reminds Wow, yeah. It reminds me of Day of the Dead, where they have to cut off his. I think they have to cut off his arm, right? Because he had gotten bitten.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they heat up the machete in the fire and then cut it off and like push it aside.
Cauterize it.
Yeah, that looks so.
That was really disturbing.
This episode reminds me of the Thing from the Addams Family.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you guys remember that?
When are they CGI or are they like optical?
They look CGI.
Special effects.
I don't know, but most of this looks practical and optical.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't remember if at this time they already had like really good CGI.
Yeah, Alien 3 predated this by quite a bit. I think Alien 3 was like 92.
Would a clean cut like that be so perfect looking though at the stump?
No, I don't know.
You'd probably be looking at the bone as well in there somewhere.
Yeah. See, this is cool right here, like the hand moving around. That's really nice.
Yeah, and then you see the little hand go out the kitty door.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So my issue, this right here with the hand. I mean, is that? So you think that's CGI? I think it's CGI.
Yeah,
could be
CGI.
And why? So why did he call his psychiatrist instead of calling the police?
Because I guess his psychiatrist.
Well, in the book, that's what he did. That's what he did in the book. And
it's
the first person he called.
Because he was the one who was in on what's going on with him. I mean, the problem that he was talking about, he thought it was in his head.
But maybe they could have saved his wife. Who knows? I don't know.
Right.
They always have a hard time in movies when somebody's got their hand chopped off, not making it look like they've got their fist balled up in a bandage.
Mm. You know, I always wondered if this movie, that's kind of like an anthology movie, it just has two stories, but I always wondered if this was like Mick Garris' idea to kickstart some sort of anthology TV series.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a pilot thing or something. Yeah.
There was a character that was completely cut out from this. I guess they just didn't have time to go ahead. It was a character named Boswell. Do y'all remember that from the short story?
Which character?
Boswell.
What did Boswell do?
His last. He was just the character from the story where the hands start really, where the left hand starts to build its army and it goes into a YMCA.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The guy who has a kukri knife in his
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a cool character. He's kind of a grumpy old man though. A night watchman, I think.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In here, they just switched the whole youth hostel YMCA thing to a hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just to accelerate the story a little bit and keep it all in the same few backdrops.
No, actually, Boswell was the student that survived jumped out the window.
Oh, okay.
You remember
He's the guy who walks
walks
towards the train tracks in the end of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
yeah.
in the Books of Blood. Okay, I get it now. Right. It's like the revolution will continue right after this.
So we're supposed to believe this is a hospital?
Yeah, because there's wallpaper and that bed doesn't look like a hospital bed.
No, yeah, that's a fancy, expensive bed.
Yeah. Hey, well, he is a plastic surgeon.
Yeah, he gets a special private hospital.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
Come on, no pants nurse, help him out here.
Yeah.
And why is she crying right here?
Yeah.
She's just in tears, and I'm like, what's wrong?
This is your job. Well, I guess because he's like, she's his assistant.
Yeah, that's right. She doesn't want him to.
Maybe this is a recovery room for his clinic, but it looks like a big hospital, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. That could be.
I like these kind of shots right here, the long corridor shots.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of Halloween 2.
In that monitor right there, you can see the little hand just walk down the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On the right.
I like the tiling. I don't know, it's just kind of creepy.
Yeah. So maybe this is just a clinic and not a. I mean, why does a clinic have like this security guard at the end of the hallway?
This guy's in the book. His name is Christie. He was in the army, and he was in the book. Clive described him. He was a racist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's not a very nice guy.
Here he's just some hospital security guard
Yeah.
who has a desk right in the middle of the hallway for some reason. Because the hallway stretches out behind his desk. So that's weird. Yeah, but Mick Garris has always been involved in anthology things. Like he was in Amazing Stories. He was in the Masters of Horror. He was in Masters of Science Fiction, 2007.
Oh.
Another horror anthology, Fear Itself, 2008, 2009. So he likes that kind of format.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's a nice shot.
Where are you guys going?
Yeah. Hey.
And did you notice that when the hands are dragging someone, they never really move their legs almost at all?
Yeah. He's using his legs to help move him too.
Yeah. Maybe this scene goes on for a little too long.
Yeah.
They could have cut it down a little bit. You don't need to see him go down the whole freaking hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that this character, something bad's going to happen to this guy.
Yeah.
And like you said, this hallway has like little wooden tables with lamps on it and everything.
Yeah.
No hospital has that.
Yeah, it's like a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feels like the Shining Hotel
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, surgery. He really freaks out.
Yeah, it would be a lot of work for his hands to get him all the way in there. I mean, he could just stand up.
Yep. The revolution is here.
Yeah. The revolution is at hand.
Yeah.
Oh, at hand. Oh my God, that's such a bad one.
Yeah.
Clive Barker actually did do lines like that in the story, though.
Oh, really?
Played off the word hand.
Uh-huh. So I always wondered, how are the people in the hospital beds like cutting their own hands off?
Yeah, right.
Because you just see the little hands like crawling in the...
There's a big shortcut over that part, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Don't overanalyze it.
Yeah.
Like in the short story, Clive has one line I wrote down in my notes. Don't worry, you're in good hands, the nurse says.
Oh.
On the other hand, what choice did we have?
Oh.
So Charlie's, this is some inner dialogue with Charlie.
Is that Mick Garris? I think that was.
Yeah, that was him. The doctor? Yeah.
Yeah.
I always just thought this thing could have been, I mean, I know it's TV.
Yeah.
To really do it right, it needed to be bloodier and just more chaotic.
Yeah.
Just
Maybe not.
right,
Maybe not a TV show.
Yeah, the scene filled. You're right. The setting, the way where they shot this at, it doesn't feel like this kind of a.
Was that like 2 years ago? There was that those fans that made a trailer for their own version of this of the Inhuman Condition or the Body Politic. I mean,
I remember that. That was on
that was
Vimeo,
really cool.
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was like about a year ago.
We covered that on our blog, so go check it out.
Yeah. So here he's having here's a dream that he's having.
I like that the hands are clapping. It's like, yay, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Again,
And he's got two hands again
Yeah.
because it's a dream.
Ghost pains.
They put both of us in the same coffin.
Yeah. Yeah, what's going on with him? Why is he? Oh yeah, because his fist.
The hand was sticking the fist in his mouth. Wouldn't it be just easier to just grab his neck and strangle him?
Yeah.
or break his
Yes,
neck.
right.
Well, he couldn't. The hand has to be alive, right?
Mhm.
Before he
So
can
it's
cut
just
it off.
like torturing him right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Go put some pants on.
He's got pretty nice legs, though.
There we go. So there's extra material in that DVD from Anchor Bay. There was a supposed. I don't have this interview. I mean, I don't have the DVD, I have a Spanish DVD that doesn't have a lot of stuff.
Oh,
But
okay.
there's some extra material in the DVD, I think, with an interview with Matt Freuder, who plays the
Yeah,
Charles
yeah,
George.
that's on the Anchor Bay one too.
Okay, there's storyboards, and there's a script. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting that one now because it's really cheap on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
Probably can get it for a penny. Sometimes you can.
Definitely below $5.
Yeah.
This DVD was $15 when it came out.
And of course, the acting in this is much better than Yattering and Jack.
It's
I also
enough,
think
darn it.
I also think Yattering and Jack suffered from the director not really understanding the material.
Yeah.
He probably had not
Yeah.
read a lot of Clive Barker stuff.
No.
Gee.
Where Mick Garris is
Yeah.
a fan. You can tell
Yeah.
Mick Garris understands the aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the stuff that if there's goofy stuff in here, it's because that's his style, and that's just what he does.
But technically, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that budget-wise, it's, the sets, I guess, are kind of strange.
Makes you wonder how it would have turned out if Mick Garris had done the Yattering and Jack. Because that story really...
Actually, that would be...
really
yeah.
been good if it was adapted by Mick Garris, because that story is definitely tongue-in-cheek.
They should put that in Quicksilver Highway
Yeah.
instead of Chattering Teeth.
I guess we have to call Stewie Griffin and get his time machine and go back in time. He's having a realization moment here.
I never watched Mech Headroom. Were y'all fans of that show?
It was really weird. I mean, basically, it was a spin-off from a Coke commercial.
That's where I knew it started off from a Coke commercial, but I knew
I just remembered because that played when I was young. So I was living in Portugal, so we didn't get that show until a couple of years later. I remember the pilot episode had something to do with people getting their organs harvested or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that does sound weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it very well, but I know I've seen a few episodes of that. There you go.
There's a little bit of blood, and
yeah.
I
just think that whole hallway should have been covered in gore.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it's TV, so they could.
Yeah, I know. But I pictured it from the Clive's story. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's from the book right here. This tree.
When I did the sleep study and I was in a sleep clinic, they had a fancy bed like that. But
I love that visual right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Except
yeah.
In Clive Barker's story, it's written in a much more gruesome and intimidating and scary way.
Yeah, but it's one of those, it's one of those parts that makes it feel like, it makes it, and in here it makes it feel like, this is somebody that's trying to be faithful to the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's funny.
Their shots are nice.
I think it's funny later on, though, that he starts yelling to the hands and they listen to him. Like, wouldn't they know that?
Yeah, they have their own minds.
Yeah.
Well, obviously. I mean, the hands don't even have ears. If you want to start going that way, it's not going to.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to get too.
But they should know that he's, the hand's not going to talk through his face.
I guess it's meant to show that they're too far away, so they don't know who's talking.
Yeah. They're just stupid hands.
The only thing about this that I feel like the effect. Oh, I hate that part. Oh God, when he's dragging his nails across the rail.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
There's one in Midnight Meat Train that's like that. That's where their fingernails start splitting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Little things like that always bother me.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I think then they know it. That's why.
It's like in the Fly remake when he started to remove his nails.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing I think that the special effects could have done better is the hands don't feel like... You don't feel the weight of the hands. The hands barely graze the floor.
No, and they've got this weird sort of digitally look to them. Like they're not the same resolution as the rest of the movie. Right.
But again, we're talking 1997, so we're limited by the technology of the time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there would be all sorts of digital blood spurts and digital hands. And
so that security guard couldn't even stop himself from going into the surgery room, but he can climb a ladder and go up on the roof.
Yeah. I guess he's not under the influence of both hands.
Well, that's true.
So, and the left is a little weaker in the story. Oh, can we keep him? Can we keep him?
Yeah.
I like how the hands are rotting. Does that miss me? Are they kind of rotting in a way?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Kind of a nice...
I guess they're also meant to look like they're from like old people and stuff in the hospital.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
A revolution is at hand!
Yeah.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
It's a really good performance by that actor, Max Headroom. He plays himself, then he plays the two hands.
So does this character have the same name when he's the pickpocket as when he's the
Yes, it is. It's Charlie.
Yes, they're both but they both have the same last name.
No, I don't know about the last name, but I just know that.
He calls him Mr. something, and I can't.
Mr. George. I think he calls him Mr. George. Because he's surprised that Quicksilver knows his name.
Yeah, I didn't like that part of it. I mean, they didn't do that on Chattery Teeth. Why do they need to make the same character playing two different parts?
I guess they wanted to put Matt Frewer in that segment. They thought it might make a connection there.
Yeah. So then are we supposed to believe that this is just a story that Quicksilver made up? Because it's got the same... He's obviously not the same guy.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what it is. The pickpocket doesn't even take that story very well. He's like, well, what are you trying to say? A guy with my name and his hands? You know, he kind of asks him, so what's the moral of the story? And I don't like people telling me what to do.
That obviously is not.
So this stunt is amazing.
It is great, but you can tell it's just not that actor.
No, you can totally tell that, but I can't believe how far this stunt went. Now look at that.
I know, that's really far.
He follows a lot of stories, yeah. I'm guessing there was like one of those giant inflatable mattresses in the bottom.
Well, and they must have had like 4 cameras on it to get all that.
And the hands, I mean, there's too many hands. There wasn't that many hands up there on the roof.
I
guess, you just have to...
Since he fell in slow motion, they had lots of time.
And you can totally tell that someone's throwing them from the top.
I know.
Just throwing them. Keep throwing the hands. Come on, throw more hands.
What roles have you played in the cinema? Well, I threw hands off of a roof.
And you can tell that they're kind of rubbery. But, I've never seen a bunch of hands fall. So this last one! Free!
Yeah, no, it's...
Yeah, that's another one. Kind of slipping through the air.
Splat.
Somebody was like, Mick Garris was like, we got to put that one in there. That's hilarious.
Well, this guy's lucky that his hands kind of stopped the rebellion there. Because his hands, for a moment, they were refusing to go up the stairs.
Yeah, he didn't even get one step up the ladder.
The thing that they changed the most really is the ending from the story in the Books of Blood to this one.
Yeah.
Because in the ending, should I say spoilers? I guess I'll say spoilers.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, it's a noise.
And like you were saying, Rob, there's that kid who escapes the YMCA, right? And he runs and runs and runs, and then the story returns to him at the end. And he's still running, and he stops, and all of a sudden he lays on the train tracks. And, I guess I'm going to tell you guys to go read the Books of Blood.
Well, it's pertinent here. I mean, I think it's okay to spoil it, because it's obviously other body parts are revolting against the...
I never noticed that on the floor. It said Viva Revolution.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I can imagine a hand writing that in blood.
That looks like paint.
Mm-hmm. It is his this is the same office from the beginning, so I guess this is his hospital. Or
Yeah.
So that
It's got a huge fancy for a clinic.
You know how much money they can save in production reusing the same set?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's some nice shots of the blood on the wall and showing the damage and the carnage afterwards.
Yeah, but it couldn't really be his clinic, because unless his clinic is in a hospital. Because there's no way there'd be that many people just, hanging around in the, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that many patients in there.
I don't even know if it's his clinic or if he just works in a clinic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But he's like the number one head plastic surgeon.
Right. So here's the setting up for the ending.
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that. I'm guessing they probably used like a piano wire and a prosthetic, and they kind of pulled it around.
Or maybe this actress can actually do that, and maybe that's why they hired her.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing skill.
Yeah,
I don't think
there's
that
not really
exists.
muscles right there like that.
No, it's just cartilage.
I mean, people can twitch their noses, but maybe not that much.
No.
Next, you're going to tell me some people can wiggle their ears. And we're back.
Well, I was curious, what would noses do? Why would they want to start a revolution? I mean, what are they going to do? Smell butts or something?
Well, yeah, and why did she cut it off? I mean, her hands weren't revolting; it was just her nose.
Right. And there's Christopher Lloyd wearing a neck piece.
Yeah. Oh, it's a little fancier than the dog collar, I guess.
Yeah, from the Yattering. Christopher Lloyd here. He was 58 on the way to 59. I guess his career started late because his first movie was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's 78 or something?
Yeah. I think he was 38 when he was in that movie. So I guess you can say his career started a little later.
And he was in Taxi.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I first remember seeing him.
Last time I saw Christopher Lloyd in a movie was 1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
Oh.
And he plays Doc Brown in a cameo.
Really?
First time I saw him,
Yep.
it was in this Amazing Stories episode. Going back to, I guess, Mick Garris. Maybe he worked with him on this particular episode. It was where he played a teacher who was stalking his students. It was pretty creepy.
So they sort of overemphasize this handshake right here because I think that it's supposed to be like, oh, now he's putting the hand curse on him.
Yeah. So here we go.
One
He's
of
like,
that
oh, what's going on with my hands?
Yeah.
I like the fact that they gave the pickpocket a jacket, a coat full of pockets, which people probably wear in real life because they need places to put all those wallets in and stuff. So, but like you said, he's a terrible pickpocket at the beginning because there's no way those people wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Especially when he rips that lady's purse from her shoulder.
Yeah.
You know? Yoink.
Yeah.
And the cops even know his name.
Is this a real place you said that?
Yeah, Santa Monica.
I did not know that. It looks pretty cool.
Santa Monica Pier in Santa Monica, California. I can't say if that Pacific Park sign is there. Or
Yeah, they might be that for
the movie. So $4 million, I'd say they were well spent. I've seen movies that had $4 million budgets that didn't look this good.
Yeah. At least they didn't have the chattery teeth hauling his body into the desert at the end.
Oh, Steven Johnson did the animatronics effects.
Oh, cool.
He's done a lot. He's done a lot of big popular.
Oh, there it is in the credits. XFX. So that was Quicksilver Highway. If you're a Stephen King fan, watch it from the beginning, I guess, and watch Chattery Teeth.
Yeah, I don't. It's painful watching that again.
I've read that story and it wasn't very good either. I don't.
Oh, really?
It's from that book, Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't a very good story. It wasn't, definitely.
I never really got that much into Stephen King, and I know that for a lot of Clive Barker fans, it's a big deal that Stephen King said, "I've seen the future of horror, and his name is Clive Barker," and that's been in every single Clive Barker book cover, and it's like, gosh. But I never really got into Stephen King, so that's one of my confessions here in the commentary, is that I don't think I've ever read anything by Stephen King.
Oh, when people recommend stuff to me, I'll read it. Like I read Pet Sematary and It.
I've seen the movie.
Salem's Lot?
Yes, I read Salem's Lot also.
Yeah, Salem's Lot started as a miniseries. There's a movie, but that movie I think was a miniseries first, and then they made a movie out of it.
Right.
And I've seen those movies from Stephen King. I've seen Firestarter with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
And that one with the cat that has like 4 stories or something.
Cat's Eye.
Children of the Corn is a Stephen King story, right?
Yeah, it was a short story. It was in a...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is that like
Graveyard Shift, I think.
Yeah. So is that like Hellraiser, where he just lost the rights to it?
Yeah, I mean, he hated that movie. I mean, it's really not a very good adaptation.
How many movies did they make out of that? Like 6 or something?
No, there's they're going on. They made another one too with this new with Judgment. How they did.
Oh yeah.
They're making another Children of the Corn. Like, does the world really need another Children of the Corn? I mean, I don't think they really
need another Hellraiser.
Time to cut down that cornfield.
That's even better. Yeah, Jeff said, does the world need another Hellraiser?
Yeah, I know. So cool. This was our double bill drive-in, I guess.
Yeah.
Now I like that. You should work that into the title somehow.
Yeah. Double bill drive-in.
Yeah.
Yattering and Jack and the Body Politic.
The Body Politic. Yeah.
Thanks for sticking around with us watching these movies, and I hope you guys had fun. I certainly did.
Yeah. That was really fun.
What was our next one? It's The Book of Blood is next.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
I like
There's
that one.
some disturbing stuff in there.
All right, so looking forward to that one.
Yes, very much so.
Thanks again for sticking around with us, and we're done here.
All right.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye.
All right, thank you, and keep watching the skies. Okay, yes. Bye.
You can find the show notes for this page and lots of Clive Barker's news and features at www.clivebarkercast.com. Please follow us on Twitter, @BarkerCast or @OccupyMidian. Like us on Facebook and join the Occupy Midian Facebook group. You can listen on the site or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn, Pocket Casts, Google Play, and Double Twist. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Please take a couple of minutes and leave us a review on iTunes. It means the world to us and helps us spread the word about Clive Barker. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that's not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This is a labor of love by the fans, for the fans.
Thanks for listening.